Happy Wednesday, everyone. So for today's lesson, we're going to be um, creating a little model of the carbon cycle. So first, I just want to go over some key vocabulary here that might be a little bit new to us, and some might be a little bit of a review. So our first vocabulary word is combustion. Combustion is when CO2 is released. So remember, CO2 is our carbon dioxide, is released back to the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels. So we have our fossil fuels here, which remember are coal, oil, and gas. And then decomposition. So this is when dead animals and plants decompose deep into the earth to create fossil fuels. So these are what are creating the fossil fuels. And then we have consumption, which carbon is transferred when one organism consumes another in the food web. So, for example, it's like when animals eat other animals or plants. And then we have our term that we've seen before, which is photosynthesis. And this is that process where carbon dioxide is used by plants to create glucose for survival. So they use that carbon dioxide, sunlight, and water to create glucose, which is that energy. Oops, this here's not delete that to create glucose for survival along with oxygen. And then we have our cellular respiration, and this is when carbon is added back into the atmosphere from plants and trees, and it uses this glucose from photosynthesis for food. So it uses this glucose and oxygen too to put carbon dioxide and water back into our atmosphere. And then we have our carbon dioxide, which is our gas molecule. And this is made up of carbon and oxygen. And this is what we find in the air. So here's our main vocabulary that you'll need to successfully complete the model on the next slide. And if you need further clarification on the vocabulary, you can click on the Wednesday lesson vocabulary. This is a hyperlink, so you should be able to click on this. And it will give you a picture for each of the terms, along with a real world example over here. So if you need further clarification on that vocab, you can refer to this vocab table as well. Going to the next slide. So you are going to complete the carbon cycle diagram. So I listed the arrows that you can match to the numbers on the right here. So for example, what you would do is you can say, okay, so my first arrow I'll model for you. So we have combustion, which is burning fossil fuels. And you want to look to this diagram and say, which one do I think represents burning of fossil fuels? So I'll model number one. So you have your number one arrow. And you can go to the next slide and type in combustion, since that represents the burning of fossil fuels. And you would do that for the next arrows as well, matching their number to the correct arrow. Take a moment to complete the diagram here. And let me know if you have questions. So go ahead and pause the video now. So now that you've completed your diagram, let's go ahead and, let me get rid of this, do our last part of today's lesson just to keep it light. So We're just going to review the connection between photosynthesis and cellular respiration, which is explained in this little blurb that I'll read to you now. So photosynthesis, right here, makes the glucose that is used in cellular respiration to make energy. The glucose is then turned back into carbon dioxide, which is used in photosynthesis. While photosynthesis requires carbon dioxide and releases oxygen, so remember, photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. Cellular respiration requires oxygen and releases carbon dioxide. It is the released oxygen that is used by us and most other organisms for cellular respiration. Cellular respiration works best in the presence of oxygen. Without oxygen, much less energy would be produced. So, after reading that passage, think about the role that photosynthesis plays in cellular respiration. What does photosynthesis produce that is needed for cellular respiration? Take a moment to type your answer in the box here, or you can complete this activity on a separate sheet of paper and take pictures and attach your work. Please email me if you have any questions. I'm here to help and support. I'll see you guys all on Thursday and Friday.